Oftentimes, when we are struggling with boundaries, is because at some point in childhood, when you had situations that overwhelmed you and you were not able to be soothed appropriately, and remember, we don't play the blame game because it doesn't help anybody. But once we go out into the world, really with that sense of fear about the environment that we've kept with us, the amygdala, which is, you've probably heard about it before, very briefly, it's often referred to also as the lizard brain. It's a very deep part right at the back of the skull that helps you, keep safe, right? So it doesn't care about many other things, whether you're right or wrong, whether you're digesting your food. It cares about you staying alive. Now, once that triggers and sort of turns on, it doesn't always very easily turn off. This is why things like yoga and meditation, swimming, anything that could be relaxing basically is very helpful, because it helps to down-regulate the amygdala. And once you're getting out of stress response, this is when you can more appropriately take care of your boundaries. But when you're either with certain people, and let's face it, we do come across people who are manipulative, but often we even just come across other people who also have their triggers and wounds and traumas, if you like, and they are looking to get their needs met, but they don't know how to do it. So we're coming across people as well all the time who also have their own issues around boundaries and trying to get their needs met and trying to feel safe. So you may have heard of this fight or flight response. There's two other responses that we can go into when the amygdala is triggered. So we have fight or flight, those are obvious. Then there's freeze and fawn. Fawning means, real the people pleasing, like, oh, don't eat me, I'm not threatening. Whatever you want, I'll do it. That's a way of feeling safe as well, as by coming across as not threatening. Okay, that might put you in the people pleasing bracket. And you might have tendencies towards one or the other, or you maybe are a couple of them. Like historically for me, I have been freeze and fawn. I haven't been much of a flight or a fight response. Okay, so in some of my other videos, I've talked about, people who shut people out. In the attempt to find safety, they are closing people out of their lives. So that would be your flight response. So maybe you can self-assess watching this video which response you tend to have. And again, there's no judgment, there's nothing wrong. It's just a response that happened at some time in the past that kept you safe. So I identified as a freeze and a fawn, and I can still get a little bit into those when I'm overwhelmed. So my job for myself, and that I help clients with, is to really help calm down that amygdala trigger. So breath work, I've already mentioned things like yoga, things that are relaxing, drawing down time, good rest, making sure that you spend time around people that do make you feel good, friends, maybe some family members, maybe people at work that you feel you can rely on for the most part. So building this network of trust in other relationships, generally speaking, not too much the intimate ones just yet, because what you want to do is, again, create those feelings of safety so that the amygdala is not overly triggered and you're not in this kind of seesaw emotion or going into the freeze response and shutting down, or anger. The fight response is the anger response. So once you have found these ways of being in trusting relationships in a non-intimate way, so non-intimate partners, and you're working on keeping yourself well nourished, good food, good rest, having ways of dealing with your nervous system to keep it leveled, at that point, we do need to have a little bit of gentle agitation, because otherwise you don't grow, and you need to be able to have new experiences to kind of override the old patterning. So the old patterning was to keep safe. Maybe it was to cut people out. Maybe it was just to freeze. Maybe it was to people please. Whichever one is your tendency, once you're feeling safe, then we can say, okay, well, who do I feel safe with? Maybe a friend. And go, okay, can I ask for my needs to be met directly from this friend? So I'm practicing, I'm taking these little micro steps towards having a corrective experience with my boundaries or my needs being met. Okay, and at first you'll have this huge wave of anxiety because what you are doing is coming towards a situation that historically has been painful. But we don't want to stay just in intellectualization, and just theoretically know all of this. We want to participate, and that's really what a coach does, and that's what I do with my clients. Coach you into the baby steps so that you can have the corrective experience, and then you get stronger and bolder over time. Okay, so I want to take people from the theory, and this is why I do these videos. Here's the theory, and let's move you towards outcomes that you want and the little mini steps in between. So this video, I briefly covered these safety responses: fight, flight, freeze, fawn, how that translates in terms of problems with boundaries, and then the kinds of things you need to be able to do to heal those things and to have corrective experiences and start bringing your life back round as a safe person and not operating in the world as someone who's scared of the environment, scared of relationships. There is a way to move forward, and there is a way to feel safe and be safe as you go out into the world and try to fulfill your innate dreams and desires and skills. Thanks for watching. Any information, see my bio, see me on Instagram, and see you next video.